Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of HomeGrown The Series. I'm your host, Emmanuel Davis. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with teacher, author, entrepreneur, and owner, Erik Rico Nance. Erik, welcome to HomeGrown The Series.
Homegrown. I love the name, man. It's dope. I hope you
Thank you.
trademark it. I love it. It's dope.
I'm working on it. It's pending right now.
I'm
Uh,
proud to be here. I'm happy to be here, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. Speaking of things that are good, as Chicagoans, we take pride in our mild sauce.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite spot was on 76 and Cottage, a place called Barber Ann's. It closed maybe like a decade ago, and I've been on a hunt for my favorite mild sauce. I stumbled upon Mickey's and I see Rico's mild, and I was like,
You need to
I
try
don't, I don't know. So I tried it, and I'm gonna say, brother,
it.
it's nothing wrong with it. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's not
I,
close. That's my go-to mild sauce. Whenever I order the salmon burger, dip it in there.
oh
Fries,
yeah.
swim
Yeah,
them.
The thing is that it's so crazy because I was gonna just do a traditional mild sauce that everybody likes. You know what I mean? The Heroes type mild sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And then like literally, I'm with one of my chefs, and I started making our barbecue sauce. Right? I wasn't quite there yet, and I was like, I stopped, and then the chef was like, he said, no, Rico, taste this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that yet. No. Stop. What's this? I said, man, hold on. I said, oh, this is good. He said, man, that's Rico mild sauce right there. I said,
Absolutely.
man, you're right. I said, that's crazy. And so big ups to Justin. He coined it, the Rico's mild sauce. And like I said, we've sold probably, you know, 4 million items with the Rico mild sauce on it to date. I'm sorry, I'm shortchanged, probably about 8 million
That's right.
items at this point in time. And it's just a real blessing to have our own home for our own place of mild sauce in a city that is known for great mild sauce. And
Correct.
we have, one of the top ones that's in the city. So I'm very, very thankful.
When are you gonna start bottling that stuff up by the gallon so that
It's
I?
funny that you think that I'm in a deal right now that we are bottling it up, and it'll be in all the grocery stores throughout Chicago, and then it'll be in all the grocery stores throughout the world, and all of our stores as well. So and you'll be able to order it from our websites. Yeah, Rico Mouse Sauce is definitely coming home to a city near you, to a home near you, a
Yeah,
kitchen. So
yeah. Sweet Baby Ray's can get out of here.
oh yeah, now when you're dealing with like Sweet Baby Ray's is my thing. So I ain't gonna lie, I like Sweet Baby, you the jump. Because
Yeah.
when it was only open pit and bullseye,
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Baby saved me in college.
Yeah.
One year somebody bought me a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's for my birthday.
You-
So I've been into sauces for a long time. Sweet Baby is you right here. Rico's mouth sauce. I'm gonna throw you right next. I'm messing with you the same way that they are around the world. We'll be around the world the same way. I mean, we really created a phenomenal sauce.
yes, you did.
That's really really good, and it really goes good with burgers, wings, and fries, and it's just really good. We
Everything.
also got a house seasoning that's really good. We use it at all of our restaurants, um, for many items, and it's a combination of our smoked paprika, seasoned salt, our garlic, granulated garlic, and our crushed black pepper, and
Okay.
it's really really good. So
Well, we're
you
gonna
don't even.
we're gonna touch on people that know you will attach you with the Soul Shack, with Lighthouse, with the Mickey's locations. But I want to talk about the other side. What
Yeah.
made those businesses successful? I want to talk about your upbringing. You mentioned that your grandfather used to ride you around South Shore and you would see his multi-unit apartments.
I don't know
So
how you.
was
Yeah, good job. Did some good research. But
thank you.
yes, that's true. Yeah.
Did was you always talk about vision and making that plain? Was that someone who saw the vision, who saw your potential, and did he set the
Yes.
blueprint for that?
Yes. My grandfather is so crazy because my grandfather was known throughout my family as just being mean. I don't know that side of my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
I'm his right hand man. I don't know nothing about him being mean. Of course, he's a businessman. You got a lot of business. You taking care of a lot of stuff. The man used to pick me up, drive me around the South Side, and say, "I own that. I
Mm-hmm.
own that. I own that." And I'm just looking like, man, Grandpa, you own all this stuff? Oh yeah, he going in there, collecting money, bank rolls full of money, jumping in a new Cadillac, riding around, sitting me at this lady's house, picking me back up. And when he was on his deathbed, he brought me into the hospital, said, I need to see you, I need to talk to you. He says, Rico, I'm leaving you everything I have. He says, you're not the smartest in the world, but you're the smartest in our family. Now, I told him, I said, Grandpa, that's not true. Because we have a lot of smart people in our family, but I think entrepreneur-wise, he knew that something was in me that was different. And he knew that what I was able to do was able to set my family free. Um, and so he says, I'm leaving you every dollar I have. He gave me full instructions. He says, turn the buildings that I showed you, all my buildings that I have, turn them into condominiums. Mm-hmm. Then he says, go to Bronzeville and buy up everything you can possibly buy in Bronzeville and sit on it, and you'll know what to do when the time is right. I said, Granddad, now he got 7 brothers and sisters. I mean, he got 7 children. Oh, it's a lot of them, at least 5 or 7. That's a lot. Yeah. So I said, you think this is a good idea? I don't think so. You about to leave me with a couple $1 million, and this is about to be a problem, and I'm still a kid. Mm-hmm. And so he ended up dying. By the time I got downstairs, I had to come back upstairs because they pronounced him dead. So by the time I got to my car, I had to go back upstairs. And, I didn't end up getting the inheritance and the things like that. I wish I did. It would have done better with my family. But he believed in me. He knew that there was something in me that I didn't even know that was in myself. I didn't know. So, of course, I didn't get anything from it. I didn't even 1 penny from my grandfather, which was okay. I didn't need it, obviously. And so my journey started, years and years and years after that. But I've taken that same mindset and I started to say, you know what? I need people to see me. And I'm very private about what I do and what I have and what I've been able to create. Mm-hmm. I don't really talk on mediums like this much. I get invited a lot. I don't show stuff. You won't see me in the cars that I have. I don't drive them. You don't see me with jewelry. Rarely see me with it. You don't know where I live at. I don't really like. It's not nothing for me to show off. I'm not proud of any of that. But one thing I'm telling you is the reason why I even speak to any degree is because people need to see that it's possible. Yeah. That creating, allowing God to use you to create things is possible. If I didn't see the vision of my grandfather, if I didn't see the vision of another man named Bob, if I wasn't able to see that, I wouldn't have known nothing else. Like literally, when I hit rock bottom almost, and I got a baby on the way, and I'm 30 years old, and Hollywood and taking some of my best work, and then we had a 32 city play that just got abruptly stopped out of the blue, that I was responsible for. I didn't know what to do, and I said, you know what, my granddaddy did real estate. Let me start there. But I can't imagine what would have been next for me if I didn't see a vision to say I could be successful doing that. Yeah. And we as Black people need real alternative options to say I could be successful doing that. That's outside of illegal things. Yeah. I don't knock anybody for doing anything illegal, because I know that they are very, very, the vision of the people is meant for you to do illegal stuff. If I'm going to just allow a drug dealer to be in your community, what else do you want to be other than a drug dealer? If you see daddy slaving, see the mom and them on drugs, but a drug dealer's driving around and seems happy, by osmosis, I'm going to want to be a drug dealer. Correct. We don't know people from the hood that really made it in basketball for real, even though we all want to do it and do this. But it's rare that we see a Derrick Rose, or it's rare that we see something like that in real life. So the most tangible things in the hood are drug dealers and scammers at this point in time. I don't knock nobody for it, but I just want to be put in the equation and say, no, there's other ways to make it in this world. And so vision is very important. And I really thank my grandfather for that.
Absolutely. And thank you for speaking with me. You hit it on the head. You're elusive. Like, we see the stuff on Instagram, but it's only the surface stuff. And that's why I know that this conversation was needed, because it's not people that look like you and I that see many options.
Yeah.
We see the stuff on TV. They paint us as this. If you're from Chicago, you're this. You have this element. So I think people like you, I think people like Chance, who are
Mhm.
actually showing, hey, I'm from Chicago. I have faith. I'm married. I'm doing all these things that people may consider corny or didn't
Yeah.
see when they were growing up. But you're actually a man of faith. You're actually a man of the word, a
Yeah.
man of the people.
When I one thing that I did, I remember a few different things that occurred to me early in life. One, I was young, probably about 10 to 12 years old, and I remember I was in a bed, and I didn't have the beds that we had to sleep on were like just the covers of the bed. We didn't have like
Mm-hmm.
box springs or nothing like that. So I remember rolling out the bed, and I looked into the closet, and I saw three men standing in the closet. I know this sounds utterly ridiculous. I don't think I probably ever said this before, but like I knew that it was like I knew that it was God. I knew who it was. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't scared because I knew who it was. And I'm at this point in time, I'm not even dreaming. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like this. You know how like if I'm seeing something, you like, man, hold on, checking myself. I'm like, everything cool. I'm not peeing on myself. Like, do I need to wake up?
Mm-hmm.
And God looked at me and he grabbed me. And he looked at me and he said, I can use you.
Yeah.
The guy next to him said, you sure? He says, yeah, I can use him. And then they left. And like literally, I stayed up. I didn't go back to sleep. I was shocked. You know what I mean? I wasn't scared. I was like, man. So I always kept that in my mind, like, man, God can use me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when I'm making a plan to have sex with every senior in school, because I had a plan when I was in college. I said, man, the AKs, they cold.
Mm-hmm.
I know they ain't gonna let me have sex with all of them. Let me just start with this one, then go down to this one, then do it. Like,
Your
then
sniper list.
other guys, he's moving pounds from his college, and I'm like, hey, people need weed here. Let me start
Mm-hmm.
moving pounds up here. I'm a football star. I ain't got no money, ain't no care packages coming my way. I'm trying to figure out life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm broke and now I'm away from home and mama ain't sending me a penny. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at this point in time, my daddy was on drugs, heavy, and my family was in need. And I'm thinking I'm about to go one route. I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to make it to the league, but in the midst of it, I'm about to move these pounds up here and I'm about to cut hair and sell bottled water because I was new. I'm about to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what happened is I go to church. I'm following my friend Roy, who just got married the other day, and that was like my girl. That was like my girl, like friend, like that's my homie.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just a real wonderful woman, and she still is to this day. And she kept saying, "Come to church with me." And I kept saying, my daddy was always in the church, but like he was on drugs. So I'm like, yeah, I just didn't see no good results from it. So I really didn't. Even though I knew God said He could use me, I didn't know which God. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what. So I just strayed away from it, and she just kept saying, just come and come." And I come, and this prophetess is there, and she stops the sermon, and she points me out in the middle of all of these people and say, "Hey, you." I'm like, "Me?" She's like, "Stand up." She's like, "Man, God wants to use you." I'm like, "Man." She's like, "Nah, your plans, that ain't gonna work. This is
Mm-hmm.
what God wants you to do. This is your family. This is what's at stake, and you need to give your life to God." And from that moment, my life changed forever. I've never
Absolutely.
been the same. I've never done things the way I did it before in the past. Even though I've failed to some degree at times, I've never fallen off track for real. I've always, God has been first in my life in every aspect of it from that point forward. That was at about 21 years old. Um, I started studying His Word. In it, during that time, I started reading, and then I started to read, and I started to read more, and I started to read more, and I wanted to learn and engulf myself with God's love letters.
Mm-hmm.
I started to just do things that were different. I started to honor the Sabbath day, just because nobody in my church, I didn't know nobody that was honoring no Sabbath day. But it's crazy because I come home and my brother Mickey, he got a book full of all these books, and he, we ain't got cell phones and none of that at the time. He comes home and say, "Hey man, we need to start doing we need to start following God for real. and we need to start living differently. We're gonna start honoring the Sabbath day.
Yeah.
And this ain't right, and this ain't right. And the stuff Daddy was telling us with this, that's not right. And that man over there, he's like, let's read this stuff. And I'm like, wait, what? This is the same thing I've been doing. Just
Mm-hmm.
oddly enough, we come home for Christmas break, we in the Word, you know what I mean? So God started to change me and my brother, even though we were away from each other. We started to serve God and serve God for real, for real. It wasn't like
Yeah.
some type of funny act. It wasn't a religious thing where, we just engulfed in some church and acting a certain way. We really wanted the real relationship with God. And, even though we were thousands of miles apart from each other, God was doing something together, like a Moses and Aaron type of situation. And it changed our family and our family dynamic forever.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. So, it's when it comes to when it came to that, it came to allowing God to become the standard. And
Yeah.
so you got to realize for years, this is at 21. I didn't even make no money until probably 31. So any vision, like I tell my employees now, I pull up a piece of paper that I had a vision. I start writing down what I believe God told me to do. So I say,
Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, 2 through 3.
Habakkuk 2 through 4. Write the vision,
2 through
make it
4.
plain upon tables, so that
Mm-hmm.
he that read it can run with it. Though it tarry, wait for it shall not tarry. It shall be right on time. You know what I mean? It's going. It's like so. Put that in my heart. I said, let me find out what. And then James 1:5, which was, um, he that lacketh wisdom, let him ask. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said, God, I lack wisdom. I don't know what's meant for me. What should I do? What path do you have for me? And God started to tell me. And I started to fast and I started to have visions and I started to write them down. And I used to show my employees, they be like, man, you just wrote this down the other day. I'm like, no, I wrote this down 10 years ago, but I ain't have a penny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I went to Hollywood and I created shows like The Biggest Loser. They get paid no money for them. You know what I'm saying? Like they robbed me. I left. And so it didn't seem like I can have anything. And I remember on my plane ride home from LA, after being there off and on for almost a decade, I just was in a plane and I was, you could see houses. And I said, God, just bless me with one house,
Yeah.
you know? And, at one point in time, I had 13 homes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very, very thankful for what God has done. And I know that it's God because I tried every other way to get things done and it didn't work. And so I had to wait for God's perfect timing, for his solutions to my problems. And, and honestly, we have a product that God has created to this day. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just a product of God. I'm not that smart, so let's throw that out the window. I don't have this great creative gene. God just tells me what to do, and I do it. And he tells me how to execute it, and then
Absolutely.
I'm dumb enough to follow everything that he tells me to do to the letter, and then it gets done, and it gets done the way he wants it done. And so I don't stray from the left or to the right from that.
You embody one of my favorite scriptures, which is Ecclesiastic 7:8. 7:8, chapter verse 8. The end of a matter is better than the beginning, and patience is better than pride. From where you started, no one could have seen where you would end. And your story is far from over, but that shows your patience. And speaking of patience, how have you, being a man of faith, navigated this aggressive, sometimes hostile business world?
You know what, man? I'm gonna tell you, the world of business is not for the weak.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do business, you want to do big business. Like I remember Jay-Z said something. He said, "Yeah, everybody at Boston to them invoices got to be paid out." Hey, I felt that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's real. You know what I mean? Like doing things and wanting to do it the right way is so tough, but it's worth it when you endure it. Like people think, oh, you got this, you must have made it. Man, we people don't realize I opened up the life. I was making money in real estate. So let me just this is all this stuff is with God. Like with God, a lot of times you have opposition.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are times where the Israelites was able to relax, but there were a lot of times that they were at war. There was a lot of times that they were being opposed. It's just a part of God. People think you just get your life to God and everything is peachy
Nope.
cream like he's a magic
Nope.
magician. No, you're gonna go through the valley. You're gonna go through. So let me tell you, what happened with me is I started to become a real estate guru, something that God told me at 21. I didn't even have no interest in doing it. Like I became very good at real estate. I remember next thing you know, the police was knocking on my door talking about, you under arrest. I said, man, hold on, this is crazy because I live downtown. And so the lady kept saying, this is when I'm just opened the lighthouse. I just opened the lighthouse. I got all this money from real estate. My son was just born. He just turned 10. So my son was just born. And I was like, I'm going to take 2 years off from doing anything just so I can be with my son every day for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to go to work. I ain't doing no real estate. I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I got enough money to do it. You know what I'm saying? So Derrick Rose lived downstairs. I remember Jennifer Hudson lived upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing good. This is before I even opened any restaurant. So I just opened up the lighthouse. The moment I opened up the lighthouse, I'm in Hyde Park. Next thing, this ain't the feds or nothing like this. Some city prosecutors talking about financial crimes or something. I say, man, I'm just thinking to myself like, this got to be a joke. It can't be real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of my friends, like, you know, because us being black, I know what other black people are doing in real estate.
Yeah.
So people would assume that I would do the same thing, but I know I didn't deserve to be anyway. So I only do things God's way. I'm not going to do it no other way. I'm not about to go through no weird way of doing. I'm going to do it God's way. I'm going to say, God, and my goal was I'm going to cut the market. So if I can buy something for, say, and fix it up for $50,000, it might be worth $300,000. I don't need $300,000 in my mind. I'm not about to wait on that. I'm about to sell it for $100,000. I'm good with making, and you can go make the rest of them. I want money right now.
Yeah.
Quick. That was my mindset. So I'm moving properties and moving stuff so fast because I'm selling stuff for $150,000 less than what it's worth, and it's fixed up for real. You know what I mean? Like it's not no weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so I think that they were seeing these transactions. They really didn't know how I was doing this without it being illegal. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, after 5 years of going to court, I had to, like, literally, my lawyers kept saying, I just don't understand this. They like, man, this is something off the television. Like, what's happening here? And so eventually they're like, no, let's just forget this. You know what I'm saying? And it was so funny because it really was never funny, but I never really took it serious.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is a joke. But I realized that Satan, he ain't playing, and he wanted me away. He wanted to destroy me. And they kept talking about, man, we love the lighthouse. And the prosecutor's like, oh, the lighthouse is really good. And I'm just like, y'all funny. But it ended up coming up like that. I realized that they were trying to set me up. This lady comes out of court and says, Erik, I don't know you, but you must be a man of God. She says, she said, I'm fighting some real heavy stuff. And they told me they'll erase everything that's against me to say that you sleep with me and you told me that you were going to rob a bank. She says, and I just looked at you and she said something. She said, I would have done this 10 out of 10 times. But she said, it's just something about you. God was telling me, don't do that. She said, I just wanted to come tell you. And it was just, and again, this is with me not even taking this serious, but it just let me know, man, God is always the protector, man. God always has our back. And even though it seemed like a dark moment, it really wasn't. I was able to hone in and grow the lighthouse to what I know. I was able to write a book called How to Love God Back at the time. I was also able to write a book called
How to Obtain Eternal Life.
Yeah, How to Obtain Eternal Life at the time. You know, so I was just sitting there and I'm at home and I'm not doing much, but I was able to be really productive in the spirit of the Lord.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny, but being a businessman and having patience, that was like my true thing of patience. Am I going to trust God through the midst of it all?
Yeah.
Also, while this is happening, not only am I paying all this money for this attorney and paying to go to court and all this kind of stuff was going on, they done messed up my frozen assets with real estate, all kind of stuff was happening. I kept feeding people for free in the store.
Yeah.
Right. So I always was gonna feed people for free because that's just I know the restaurant is not mine, it's God's. And if I want to have something that, if I'm gonna be a man of faith in business, I gotta put faith before business. The same way I put faith before school and got all A's, I'm gonna put faith before business and have a successful business. And so the model for my attorneys and my accountants were, you have to stop. You can no longer feed people free food. You don't have no more money, Erik. You're broke.
Okay.
With the court, you possibly got to go to jail for some years. You've wasted your savings. You got to stop feeding people. The business has to close. We have a big old meeting, and my Kiana was there, and my kids, and everybody said, hey, you got to close.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said it was somewhere in December or something like that. And they said, look, just close the doors December 31st. And I said, well, it's like, if you go any longer, you're not going to have you're going to be broker than broke. And so I said, well, just give me a couple weeks. Give me a couple more weeks. I was about to go close the thing, but then I saw Ron. He came into work, and he's like at the 17 at the time. He's the one who runs the Lighthouse along with Georgia in Hyde Park, and he's opening up the new one in Indiana right now, which we'll have open next month. But he says, I just look at him and I say, I can't close these doors. And I said, God, one thing I know for certain is you see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You see that I'm feeding these people. You see that I'm housing them. You see that I'm employing these people. You see what I'm doing. I said, so I'm going to trust you. If I got to go broke, let me be all the way broke before I stop doing what I believe you want me to do.
Absolutely.
I come to work for the first hour full of customers, damn, they'd be homeless people, bro. Like, so, you know, right. So I'm looking at all my money going out the door. But I said, you know what? I'm going to trust you. And literally, no exaggeration, out of the blue, the business quadrupled like the next day. I don't know, like the next day, our numbers went from like $700 a day to $4,000 a day. And it ain't never stopped. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm talking about, I ain't do no new marketing. I ain't do no new, I'm trying to figure out what happened. I'm like, man, am I on a TV somewhere?
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, but the homeless people kept flooding in, but then the customers would flood in. And I mean, next thing you know, we got enough money where things is moving and things is rolling. And I owe God everything. It showed me that if you keep trusting God, no matter what, stay consistent in patience in God, wait on God, God will come through. And I mean, God ain't never late. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? You know, and so that's really why the Lighthouse was survived. I could have easily closed the doors and said, you know what? That was a good idea, God. We did good for a second, but you know, it's over.
Yeah.
God said, not here. This not what we're doing. And so, you know, I'm very excited about what God has done and what God is about to do with the Lighthouse. Is doing well, and I believe it's going to be all over the country.
Why did you choose Hyde Park?
I grew up on 116 12 South Morgan. I grew up in Ragtown, and I'm certain I probably didn't even see my first. I know I didn't interact with my first white person until I was like 7 or 8. Like I knew it was many years before I even, because a white person talked to me, I was terrified, and it was just a terrible experience.
Mm-hmm.
But they were trying to run me over in a car, and the girlfriend was like, "No, stop!" And then, you know, I'm like, "Man, what the heck?" And so my auntie moved to Hyde Park from over east. And so my daddy had to drop us off there for the summertime because he like, man, we're in the hood. You gonna go over to Hyde Park and go see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so I see all these white people and Indian people, black people, Ethiopians, Jamaicans. I said, man, what is this? I've never seen nothing like this ever in my entire life.
Am I still in Chicago? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like, man, where am I? Like, what is, then you walking, and my daddy would give us $5. And I'm like, man, I got enough for KFC, but me and my brother gonna walk. And so we walking through the map because we had the 4850 building. I mean, 4800 building. So now we moving around. So we going to the right, and we going to see all the mansions. And this is where Vision comes in. And so they're like, this is Muhammad Ali house. And the maid ring the doorbell. The maid like, no, he's not here today. And I'm like, would you tell him that?
Yeah.
Nikki and Erik are looking for him. You know, I want to. Like, we're from the hood. We see these mansions. We are in awe. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it's just, it speaks to the testament of how important Vision is. But the reason why I chose Hyde Park, so my cousin Kyrie, he was a Hyde Park as well. My cousin Mike and John and all of them. But Kyrie took a special interest into cooking. He was always like over his mama house. You're gonna have some fake eggs. Some eggs with tofu. You ain't gonna have the real eggs. You know what I mean? Like you gonna have stuff that you ain't never had before. And so, and it was always good. You know what I'm saying? They fresh. I mean, Kyrie is the mayor of Hyde Park, and that was my favorite cousin. You know what I mean? And he died. You know what I'm saying? He had a heart failure, and he died. And so I always said to myself, if I was going to have a restaurant, I was going to make sure I honored him.
Yeah.
Because he just that was his world. So one day I was out praying on 63rd off by the Labita by the lake, and I heard God tell me lighthouse. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what exactly it was going to do. And so me and Kiana were out at Z-Berry's getting some frozen yogurt one day, and I'm eating, and I turn around and I see a Felice sign, and I tap it and I said, "Oh, that's the lighthouse right there."
Yeah.
It was 3rd Street, and she said, "What?" And next thing you know, like 4 days later, I came home with a lease. I said, "I'll put $10,000 on this lease, and we got a restaurant called Lighthouse. We're about to open up." She said, "Boy, what are you talking about?" I said, "I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All the food that you telling us that we should eat, that you keep throwing away all the food that I think is good and cooking some stuff that's good, and my mama making all these wraps at the crib and we eating poppy seed and stuff I never had before, man, and all that stuff Kyrie used to eat, we gonna put it up in here."
Yeah.
There ain't no market for nothing like that. I said, no. This Trader Joe's and Whole Foods is blowing up. So what if we was able to go get some food from Whole Foods that was cooked good? I said, that's all it's gonna be. So it's like, what type of food? American? I said, it's gonna be whole food.
Yeah.
We can't have a whole food grill. It doesn't exist. I said, I don't care. We the only people that eat here, so what? I'm gonna have something that all of our family eat. We're gonna have all natural steak. We're gonna have all the way from your meatless, soy-free veggies, like vegetable mix, crumbles. We're gonna have our pizzas that we like to have with the kids. We're gonna have our all-natural chicken tenders. We're gonna have the wraps Mama make for lunch. We're gonna put the albacore tuna, how she make it like chicken. We're gonna have salmon because we love salmon. We're gonna jerk it because I like jerking it, and I love my brother be coming up with jerk honey mustards, and Mickey got all this stuff. So I said, this is what we're gonna, fried green tomatoes, throw them in there.
Yeah.
Everything we buy from Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, we're gonna be able to cook it, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And so my family came together. They rallied behind me, and we didn't have none of us have ever opened a restaurant before in our life. We didn't know not one thing about it, but it ends up being one of the most successful fast casual restaurants in the entire world, year after year after year. So very, very thankful.
And that's what I admire. One of the many things that I admire is growing up in Hyde Park or just visiting Hyde Park. You see restaurants come and go. Some of my fondest memories was the Pizza Hut attached to the Baskin Robbins. And I'm like, they got rid of that. That's my childhood. How do they get rid of that? But can you talk to? I don't want to say that it was gentrification, but the struggles, if you had any, keeping a restaurant up in Hyde Park.
Oh, I had a whole lot. See, the thing is that the success of the Lighthouse sparked. See, you gotta realize, ain't no Chipotle,
nope,
ain't nothing but Subway that at this point in time is gang banging all over Hyde Park on 53rd Street. It ain't the 53rd Street that you see today. It used to be, but then it went through a very dark phase, and I was the only piece of light on that street. I mean, there's nothing else there that's remotely trying to help somebody. Like, I remember one kid ran into the Lighthouse fending for his life, and this guy named Tristan, they was about to kill this man. They call him Timo. I brought him in, I hired him. He's my manager right now at Soul Shack. He's been working for me for the last 7 years. But the university students were getting robbed every single day for their laptop and phones. Hyde Park at this point was not nowhere near what you know.
Yeah.
And so the university and people, the realtors from the university would come in and they would look at the success of our stores and they would try to go and put me out of business. So you would think at one point they would say, hey, let's help this young man. This man is helping us. I got people on camera that'll tell you, oh, I used to rob the people at the university every day, but you feed us for free. We ain't got to do that no more. You gave me a job. I don't need to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? You would have thought they would have came and said, hey, let me help you. Let me get you a Lighthouse division in campus, and they would say, nope. What type of food is he serving? That's similar to Chipotle. Let's get them there. What type of stuff are they serving here? Let's get that similar to that. My cousin was literally in the meeting. They didn't know that he was a part of the real estate board. They brought up my store and Z-Berries and said, what's the comparables to them stores? Let's put them out of business. And literally, so then there's the next thing, rent. I'm paying a good amount of rent anyway to be in Hyde Park. But now, based upon the success of my store, we've created a different environment. The landlord says, Erik, the lease is up, but I'm not going to go up a lot on your rent, maybe $100 or $200. Now, at this point in time, the HVAC system has just completely went out. So I just spent $15,000 on a new one. And I wanted to say, hey, before I put this money up, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know, he comes in, I fix the stuff, he makes the agreement, I shake hands with him. He brings me the paperwork about a week later, and the rent is like $7,000 a month more. And I said, what is this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I did a little research. He says, if your burrito is worth $10, you're not going to sell it to me for $7, would you? He said, so this is the ongoing price. Either you want it. So I said, well, let's negotiate. This man cussed me out for asking him to negotiate and said, man, I want you out my store immediately. And I said, man, this was a Allstate building. Like, this was an insurance place. I turned this into a restaurant for you.
Yeah.
I've done your business a great service. Look at what I'm doing in this community. At this point in time, I'm at 150,000 people I've served in the community. At this point in time, like for free. At this point in time, I had already housed over 12 people in my houses that I had all throughout the city that's homeless. I said, look, the homeless people ain't here no more. Like, you want to know where they went? I housed them. They work here now. Like, I'm good for your community. Like, he said, man, I don't care nothing about that. I want you to, either you're going to pay me this $9,000 a month or you're going to get up out of here. I said, there's no way I can afford that.
Yeah.
And so I signed a new lease. And, you know, I'm about to get back to 53rd Street. So what I did is I got that lease. And then, you know, I like to really thank this guy named Peter Castle with Mac Properties, because this man really has helped me, because he's seen what I've been able to do, and he's backed me over and over and over again. He let me put the Soul Shack. He let me pick Can't Believe It's Not Meat right on 53rd Street. And I'm about to get back on 53rd Street with Lighthouse and Mickey's combo. As soon as a spot opens up, I'm going to get right back on 53rd Street, because I like 55th. When we're doing record numbers on 55th Street, it's just something about 53rd Street that I built. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was named the face of 53rd Street. The new 53rd Street is built off of my back.
Yeah.
And in the back of my family and what we've been able to contribute to Hyde Park. And, you know, and I need to be back home with all my restaurants. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to have Can't Believe It's Not Me, Mickey's, Soul Shack, and Lighthouse back on 53rd Street where we belong.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I also got like a club I'm opening up on 51st Street. It's in the works right now, right across from Kenwood, which is free parking and, you know, some bars and some little hangout spot where we have a little good time, you know, after hours type spot, really high-end dinner type thing, and then a club. So that'll be coming soon too. But, you know, I like to thank Peter publicly for helping me, because you need help. I'm a young black man. I didn't have no credit. I didn't have no, you know, nothing. You know, somebody had to believe in me. And, you know, the guy who started me off, Craig Yale, he definitely believed in me to open up the Lighthouse. And Peter took the vision, and he's been able to accelerate that vision and allow me to keep creating sustainable businesses that people can see black people own. You know,
Absolutely.
Fabricia owns Can't Believe It's Not Me. I'm just a, you know, low end partner on that. But, you know, I created the other things from the top of my head. Soul Shack, I created you know, Mickey's and Lighthouse, and he was able to give me a home for my visions, and I'm very thankful.
That was a great story, man. I didn't know any of that. That was a good story. So what led you, before the pandemic happened, in 2016, you started doing 30 seconds with God. Was that before you started doing the Bible study at the Lighthouse, or was that after?
No, we was doing Bible study at the Lighthouse since we opened. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, we've been doing ministry at the Lighthouse since we opened our doors.
Okay.
And we do it in different forms. It's not just coming in for Bible study. We was doing poetry night. We was letting people making a beats and displaying them, and
Mm.
people rapping to them, and artistry. Because at the end of the day, people need a place to express themselves.
Absolutely.
I say a little few small words, but the ministry within itself is, hey y'all, we here. It ain't no violence. It's 150 people in this little small space, and there's another 100 people outside trying to get in here. And guess what? God's all over it. You at the Lighthouse. We ain't serving no food. We ain't got nothing to drink. And everybody's in here having the time of their entire life. And God provided this space, So it's other ways of ministry that goes on. So we've been doing stuff. 30 Seconds with God just sparked by me trying to get God's word out more.
Okay.
When times get darker for me, I try to do as much ministry as I can. It's a line that Kanye says, which is crazy, but it sets the mindset for a lot of things I've done. He says, I made Jesus walk, so I'm never going to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, how untrue it might be. When we get to a park,
Yeah.
like, man, I need some more seeds in the ground.
Yeah.
What can I do to create more seeds? I mean, to put more seeds, to create more flowers that can grow more word, that can grow more people that look like you, God. What can I do? And that was just an extension of me saying, what can I do? God, what can I mean, I know I can talk to you about anything in the Bible like the back of my hand. I've been studying it. I'm a theologian. And it's like, I need other outlets to get God's word out to God's people. Instead of me just sitting here and knowing everything, it's not doing me no good. I want to get the word out. So 30 Seconds with God is just sparked off of, hey guys, let me tell you a little bit about the God I serve. Let me tell you about the word of God, God's love letters that you need to know about. Did you know? You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. Yeah. And
they're good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Do you stop and record? Because some of the beginning ones you would laugh, and then the video would like come down.
Look, I don't know. And if somebody can help me with this, Instagram just changed Instagram. So,
they did.
Like, I was able to just press the button, stop. I'm like, yo, welcome 30 Seconds with God. It's Erik, Rico, Nance. Stop. Hey, y'all remember about the time of Noah? You know what I mean? This and the third. Stop. I turn to another angle. And then God was, so I'm just doing this. That's all I'm doing with my thumb. So I don't know how to do that no more. I'm like, what happened? Y'all done messed up the magic of my videos. You know what I mean? What? You know what I mean? Come in from this angle. Come in from that angle. Come in from this angle. Yeah. And it's just talking about the goodness and the glory of God, man, and pointing out different stories of God and saying, hey, just like, your beard. I started talking to this man. Did you know God, for identification purpose, told people not to cut their beards? He wanted the Israelites to be known. You walked in the place, they want you to know this is what the Israelite is. This is who he looks like. And you're going to be separated by a few different things, and the growing of the beard was one of them. Yeah. And so, like me just getting any word out there, man, concerning the word of God is beneficial. So, I always did it, and I'm always continue to do it because I just love God. I love God's people for real, man. I really do.
No, it's, again, I keep saying that how much I admired that is because it's not just gimmicky. It's literally, no, this is what I'm about. Yeah, y'all can align yourself with that person or that. I'm gonna stay true to what I want. And I really respect that you respect the Sabbath day for your restaurants where you met I will tell you this though. There are some nights when I'm riding down Stony, I'm like, man, I wish Mickey's was open, man. But I get it. I get it.
No, you know what? Here's his thing. It's principle over pay, right?
Principle over pay.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. You gotta have more principle than you want to get paid. And because if you create principle, then God is gonna say, hey, I honor your principle, and God is the multiplier. Whether you know it or not, you are a tool used by God to move God's platform, to move God's businesses in other directions. And so God can do that. Mm-hmm. Nobody is more powerful than God. So if I use the principles of God over anything else, I've seen it. I've seen Well, I was about to close, and then next thing you know, my business quadrupled. I saw that. You can't tell me God don't work. It was something my granddaddy did. My granddaddy gave me some money. I went to church one day, and they said tithe, and you test God, see if it works. I put my money in there. The day after, my grandmama come and say, "Hey, here go a check," and gave me 7 times that amount. I said, "Oh, if I'm gonna put my money on anybody, I'm gonna put it on God."
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and here's the other thing. One day I was in Tennessee. I was in Bible college, and I was at some camp, and I went outside, and this is when I first was getting into the word, and I'm out there and I'm praying, and I can like out there you can see the stars. It's super clear. It's just beautiful. And then I heard I think what is it? Hold on, I'm about to tell you exactly what happened. Let me tell you because I don't want to lie about it. I want to be extremely accurate. Hold on one second.
Gotcha.
Hold on. It's in Numbers. Um, I just want to tell you exactly what it is. Yep. God said Numbers 23 and 19, right? And so I'm thinking that somebody's talking to me, and they say Numbers 23 and 19. I turn around I'm like, well, who just said that? So I'm looking like, man, somebody just tell me that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Numbers 23 and 19 is. I never heard of it before in my life, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm like, man, who said that? I'm like, God, did God tell me that? So I go run back to the dorm room. I go take my Bible. I'm happy to see a book called Numbers. And then I was happy to see chapter 23. And I read verse 19. And he says, I am God and I am not a man that I shall lie.
That's what he said.
Man, I said, wait, so God tells the truth. So one thing God said about the Sabbath, he says, if you honor the Sabbath day, I'm going to cause you to eat upon the high places of the earth and feed off the heritage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I, the Lord, have sworn it unto you. I said, wow. This means that much to you?
Yeah.
From the beginning of time, before there was a Jew, before there was a Greek, the Sabbath, he said, man, I'm going to rest on the Sabbath day. During the time of Moses, the people came in and said, hey, man, are you going to honor my Sabbath day or not? During the time of Jesus, he always honored the Sabbath day. They doubted him and said, man, are you honoring the Sabbath? He said, man, look, I'm showing you how to really honor the Sabbath day. Then during the times of the apostles, after they didn't spend 40 days and 40 nights and 3.5 years, 40 days and 40 nights after the resurrection of Christ, they still honor the Sabbath day. Paul taught all his people on the Sabbath day. When Christ comes back in the book of Revelations, he says the honor of the Sabbath day still exists. I said, this means that much to you, God. Let me give you my Sabbath day. Let me honor it. And guess what? Since this restaurant is yours, you can have that too.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell you, people used to fight, bang on the window, cuss me out, throw food. People will tell you, if you ever go talk to Tristan, ask him what used to happen when we closed on Friday night. And so go ask Ron the type of cussing out we're going to receive. Your business ain't going to survive. You ain't going to do this. Man, we got about 9, 10 restaurants now. Like, you can't tell me no other way. I'm gonna do whatever God way say, and if I got a partner that don't want to do it that way, I tell them, hey, you know what? I can help you create your own stuff. God bless you, but you ain't gonna use my brands and do it your way.
And the thing is, too, if you go out to Oaklawn, Evergreen, those stores are closed on Sunday, and they've been there since for like 20, 30 years.
Back when I was a kid, all the stores were closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
You want to go to Zare, you want to go none of that. Sunday it was over, bro. It was over. You know what I'm saying? And so I looked up, I did some studying, and I said, hey, this is how God honored the Sabbath. This is the last day of the week. The last day of the week starts Friday night and ends Saturday during the daytime. So I'm gonna do it the way God said it. And I know Chick-fil-A does it on Sunday because that's the new, the more Constantine, the Constantino, Constantinople, whatever you say.
Yeah.
That's the Sabbath that they created. But at the end of the day, I would say I'm gonna just do it God's way. I'm gonna roll the dice and I'm gonna see what happens. And after getting kicked out, after getting screamed on, I say, and all my friends that do it the other way, I say, oh, now y'all closing on Monday, right? I said, why? I said, his business don't allow you to stay open on Monday. I said, but my Monday is good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My Tuesday is good. I got a line of people standing outside all my restaurants on Saturday. But go look at Can't Believe It's Not Me and see how many people standing outside before the opening of the Sabbath day. You know what I'm saying? in anticipation to open. Many people on Friday buy meals twice, so my numbers don't even go down neither one of the days. So I say, hey man, just roll the dice with God, man. He ain't gonna lie. He gonna bless you. Just do it God's way.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, my brother, man, I can go on and on and on about it, but the Sabbath is extremely important
absolutely.
to God.
Um, I I will ask you this last question,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be the last. We can keep having this conversation because I'm truly enjoying it. Um, you
Me too.
mentioned all this stuff, but what does success look like for you?
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I've been feeling, and I'm gonna tell you, I've had some of my most successful moments over the past 2 years.
Okay.
Um, honestly, I'm reaching like this year alone, like between 21 and 22, I probably have reached $1 billion through the things I have in my hands. But I haven't felt successful because the things in my home have been messed up. Like my kids, I got 4 children. They the most important things in the world to me. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife had decided we wanted to get a divorce. Things just wasn't working out. And it's like for a man of God, it's just hard to accept this. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Like, dealing with an improper home, having things wrong in a home, it's no good for me. I don't like it. I'm never a man that wanted to. I never said I want to deal with divorce, and I never was doing things that should accompany divorce. You know, like it's just I don't know what happened, man. Like, um, marriage to me was so important, and so you know, on one end things are great. You know what I'm saying? Like things are going great, but on the other end, it's like I didn't know God's plan concerning these things, and I'm in a not. I don't know, and I'm like God. I need wisdom, and I need understanding. I need you to come see me and talk to me and help me with this the same way you help me with business. I don't know what to do, um, because all I wanted to have was a family that was in representation of God, and a household that was in representation of God at all times. And for whatever reasons, I just haven't been able to have that. I'm happy my brother does, you know what I'm saying? But it's been really tough for me to like I've been living away from my kids for like 2 years. Of course I got the chance to be with them all the time.
Yeah.
But that's just nothing I asked for, wanted, or whatever, wanted. I hate it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like so success for me is to find peace in whatever's going on here. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Whatever God got going on. And they may be just, you know what? I mean, that which it seems it really. I mean, the writing's on the wall. It seems that chapter is moved on, but it's a way to finalize peace and have enjoyment with between my ex-wife and the kids, and, and any new things I got going on in life. I want to find balance and peace in it because at the end of the day, that's what success really means to me. But I can look at my kids and I see that they happy. Like my kids ain't happy, when my offspring ain't happy, there's no way I can be successful. If if my mate ain't happy, there's no way I can really be successful. And even my children's mother, you know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure she's happy and has the things that she wants out of life. Um, and when she's happy and saying, hey, you know what, things didn't work out between me and you, but I love you and I'm thank God and I'm happy now and this is what's going on, man, that equals, you know what, I feel good about that. I will feel good about that. Like, and right now it's just we're going through that type of stuff, and this I just of course I don't even speak, like I don't speak publicly anyway, but I'm pretty much an open book, but I don't like it, you know what I'm saying?
No, for
Like,
sure.
yeah, so I just wish that I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but you know, separation at times is something that happens, and it is what it is. But I'm gonna make sure that I'm I'm be the best man that I possibly could be during through it all, and the mistakes I have made to correct them and try to become better. I'm constantly going to therapy and things of that magnitude now, just to make sure that you know mentally everything is moving in the right realm. Because it'd be like, man, like I need, I want everything to be successful
Yeah.
all things. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and at the end of the day, Satan always rears his ugly head, and sometimes God does remove certain things, and certain things start over again with certain things. So I'm not opposed to God's plan, as rough as it may seem, or as which is not really rough to be honest with you. It's just different, and it's just
Yeah.
something that I'm dealing with. So but that's what success looks like to me is is looking at my children and looking at myself, looking at the people I'm responsible for, and we happy. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Looking at my mama and she's happy, and looking at them and knowing that we on the right track and in the face of God and doing what God's will is in our life. You know what I mean? God, people think that everything is real black and white with God. It's not. When you look at the word of God, it's some this, it's a little north
Mm-hmm.
corner, it's a little back door.
Mm-hmm.
God is a phenomenal storyteller. He's a phenomenal director. And and when I just subscribe to being playing the role of my life as clay, the potter will do what he wants to with me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
Were you hitting us with the good stuff? You hit me right here. Okay. That was deep, man. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing those stories, man. I truly appreciate it. You are one of those people that when you think of Chicago, you think about Hyde Park. And I don't necessarily like when people say, "Oh, I'm from the South Side." No, name the neighborhood. When you think of Hyde Park, your name is right there. I know when Obama won, he had meals at Valois and whatnot. Now, Rico, Erik, this is Erik's meal right here. You
it.
mean more to me. No offense to him, but you need more to me than Obama has. Thank you. That's been another episode of Homegrown the Series. I'm your host, Emmanuel Davis. I hope you took something out of this because I definitely did. Thanks for watching.